Well, you were in the courtroom, Jeff. How did he present himself?
I think he did very well. I think that the cross-examination by our guest, Joe Lopez, who was just here, fell flat. He attacked Neal Schori, this minister, instead of attacking the reliability of what Stacey had said to him.
All right, let's tell the viewers what we're talking about. Neal Schori was the pastor to whom Stacey, the fourth wife, came and talked to him and said, look, Drew, rehearsed for hours telling me what to say about the night that I caught him coming home in the middle of the night when he had gone to bed with me and then disappeared, and his sleeves were wet up to the elbows, which I hear the judge didn't let in. And he was washing another woman's clothes that weren't mine in the washing machine.
Which they did let in.
They let that in, but not the sleeves. All right, Fred, why is that important?
I think it's very important because, remember, the prosecution's case has some holes in it, but their argument is, and the theory of their case is that the reason we have holes in it is because Drew Peterson put them there. He set this up to look like an accident. So the more Mr. Lopez yells and screams about where's this, where's that, where's this, the more the prosecution can say, of course it's not here because Peterson did what he said he was going to do, which was kill her and make it look like an accident.
All right, now let's talk about Peterson and the fact that he was trained in a chokehold. What's the hold called? A submission hold?
There's 3 or 4 different police holds, but I can tell you that in 4 to 7 seconds you can put somebody out very
without
easily.
any observable injuries?
No, there's usually no injuries because they're struggling for air, and the first thing that they do is they try to go to your arm, and by the time they do that, they're already losing, and they just drop. I mean,
Well,
choked out
there are
hundreds
some
of
injuries.
people.
There are some bruising here, and bruising right where you would suspect it, deep bruising under the rib.
But you got to remember
bruising
that
on the left hip, 3
Yes,
series?
I would expect bruising on the left hip,
Why?
and I would expect bruising on the wrist because he drug her down the hall, and there's abrasions there.
Yeah, but what if the DA says, no, he put her head in the toilet, which explains the deep bruises,
That's fine.
the symmetrical bruises under the clavicle?
But you still have a struggle, and you have to transport the body from where you first contacted the body to a place where she's drowned. Whether it's the toilet or the bathtub, it's irrelevant.
Oh, I
you
see.
have to bring her.
You
have to bring her from the bedroom down the hall, and that's where the abrasions and contusions come.
And of course, what we're just looking at was a graphic of the injuries. Pull that one back up on her body. That's is it the front or the back? That's the front. Give me the back, guys.
Do you notice
the left side?
They're all on the left side.
I noticed it. What does it tell you? You were in the courtroom. What was the testimony like as it related to the injuries and the explanation by Dr. Case?
You know, I wasn't that impressed by Dr. Case. I must say that was supposed to be a huge day. But, you know, she said things in cross-examination which worried me, my experience with experts. She said nothing was authoritative unless she wrote it, and I think that's going to come back to haunt her. That's the day the jury afterwards wore green. It wasn't until Patrick, the hitman, testified they wore gray.
Yeah, but what do you think?
I'm not worried about that. Juries pick out what they want to support their theory of the way they think the case should go. I'm not worried about that. And I'm also not worried about the fact that Drew Peterson, that they couldn't testify about his training. These jurors bring their common sense. They know that a 20-year police veteran has dealt with day in and day out, subduing people, dealing with people when he has to arrest them. So the fact that they wouldn't the testimony,
you know what?
That's not going to hurt them.
Here's the problem. The defense, in their opening statement, talks about the fact that he arrested her and threw her down in the front yard within a second, and yet the prosecution can't explain that?
You know what, Judge? It's beyond me. I heard what you were saying earlier about prejudicial. You know, they teach you, of course it's prejudicial. That it wouldn't be relevant if it wasn't prejudicial. It doesn't mean it just because it hurts his case. It has to be unduly prejudicial. It has to get people so emotionally charged that they rule against them based upon emotion. I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, it just shows that the guy's a stone killer.
Well, and you know, if the woman was drowned, I mean, isn't it relevant the guy's up to his elbows in water?
Yes. That would be yes.
Judge, the Neal Schori testimony is the only testimony thus far that has actually eliminated the time of death when Kathleen Savio died, and now Drew Peterson, his own conduct and his own actions is trying to cover up that time span. The suspect always knows where he was when the victim was killed, and he's trying to cover up that time frame. That's huge, and the defense is not going to be able to cross-examine or do anything with that unless Drew gets on the stand. If he gets on the stand, All the tapes of him and many of these things that have been suppressed are coming in, if not under under impeachment.
Well, I say he should get on the stand. I want to tell you something. The testimony this week was such that if he doesn't explain the hitman, if he doesn't explain the statement by Stacey, he's going to get a hung jury or get convicted.
He's not going to get a hung jury because they dress alike.
Yeah.
I got news for you. He gets on the witness stand. He goes down like a sack.
Anyway,
I
so
don't
what?
know. He's gotten away with stuff for years and years. You think this is the only bad thing he's done in his life?
That would be I doubt
Nobody's that good. Two women, one missing, presumed dead, the other woman dead. Drew Peterson, you know, when I was there, I found out a lot of things he was involved.
What do you want to tell us?
Well, no, I mean, not other murders, but I mean, he had shady dealings with in a lot of areas.
Okay,
but
let's talk about the hitman.
Nobody's that good.
The hitman. The guy comes in. And he says, Drew gets me in the cop car. He's in his uniform. He's got his gun. He wants me to take care of his third wife.
A very believable, too, because this guy worked with Drew every day. He didn't have to go on a ride-along. Why was the ride-along? Because Drew wants control. Drew wants to put him in the back of the car and say, hey, remember, I'm a sergeant. You're in the back of a police car. You might be in the back of the police car another day.
Who else did he do this with? Thomas Morphy.
That's
he did
right.
The very same
absolutely, because that's his MO.
Okay, guys, we're getting too in the weeds here. What we're saying, though, is that his intent to have her killed is relevant. It's there through this witness.
And he's got to explain it. That's why I say if he's got any kahunas, he's got to testify. He goes on every media outlet, but he won't testify.
Judge, I think he may, because the guy strikes me as being just kind of so arrogant and full of just unbridled hubris that he thinks he's going to get on this witness stand and work him like Mark's told me he tried to work him. So I think
he tried to work all of us. Come on.
He tries to work everybody.
He's looking at the peanut gallery all day long.
Oh, he's winking at you.
So doesn't make him a bad person, but that's not the point.
The judge having Ruby arrested. I mean, is that ridiculous?
Yeah, it is ridiculous. But
it wasn't so much the judge. The sheriff was protecting that courtroom. Ruby looked like
No. I have information the judge. No. I have information that the judge said, I want this guy arrested. Come on, Jeff. Don't take me in on that one. I got that one down. That's ridiculous, and you know it. How come we're not so fast to arrest women who say my husband's threatening to kill me?
I'll tell you the thing about it is, in most courtrooms, Drew would not be allowed to keep turning around and eyeing at the gallery. So there really should be a little even Steven here. I mean, if he can do it, then these people can mouth words to him.
All right, Mark, Jeff, and Fred, our great panel. Thanks so much for being with us this evening.